Hey guys, this is Ruby as always, and welcome back to the Infamy Modpack series. Uh, I know it's all still Bedrock. I got some complaints that it looks really bad on YouTube, so I actually changed up my render settings on my last Hypercraft video, and it seemed to work out a lot better. I guess we're gonna see if it's still bad even with my new render settings. I'm gonna go ahead and probably make a new world and try to MC edit this over into the new world. So, I've started on the map design. Now, the redstone stuff, it looks like we're going to have to go with the old command block system. I just need to research a bit more into that before we can start that, and I feel comfortable doing it and not completely embarrassing myself. So, how I want this to work is, let's get down here so we don't have so much out there, is that before I did Minecraft as much as I do now, I was a huge FPS player. I played a lot of Call of Duty and Battlefield, and I played a lot of games. It was all mainly FPSs, and what I always liked about some map designs was there was only a couple ways you could go. Now, this can make it easier to defend places or harder. It really doesn't matter. So the basic design I'm going for is that we're going to have a left, a middle, and then a right side. So the left and right side, they're not going to be straight shots. They're going to do some weaving. You got to go around some corners and stuff like that. Same with the middle. There's not going to be a straight shot. Like, you can't just go straight through the middle and get to the other team's bases. And something else I'm going to do for this is that it's going to be a carbon copy, except for some elements. Like, for example, what I want to do is that once you pass a certain line on the map, like, say, I don't know, wow, there's a really loud car outside. Let me know if y'all could hear that. Is that, say we pass this line right here, and, like, this is the middle of the map. And what I wanted to do is, like, this side will have all of your blue wool. Like, there will be blue accenting, and then on this side we'll actually have some red wool accenting, just so even if you weren't paying attention to what you were doing, you would still be able to look and be like, oh, okay, look, that building has a blue highlight at the top or at the bottom or something like that. Or if we're gonna do letters on the actual buildings themselves, you'll be able to see. Oh, okay, it's blue. I'm on the blue. I'm a red guy, and I see blue, so that means I'm in the enemy territory. So that was kind of my basic idea for this system. However, I wanted to make it kind of symmetrical, so that it could be easily copied and flipped and stuff like that. So right now, I'm just making this all out of vanilla blocks, and then later I want to come back and then do it up in the mod pack stuff. Like, if we were to look at some of these blocks, there's like these cool, like, designy blocks. So what I'm basically doing is I'm laying out the wire skeleton of the map. Like, here's your entry points. There's going to be an object blocking here. There's going to be a corner here. All of that cool stuff. So let me actually move my mic back a little bit. All right. So I might have been a little loud. So I guess we can go ahead and go through some of the design, because, I'd like to do this all off camera so I can sit back and be like, no, and redo it, but I figured you guys would like to see it as well. So with this, there's kind of going to be a little surround, and what this is going to be is the team's spawn point here. So they'll all spawn right here, and I think we're going to auto give people weapons and armor and stuff like that, depending on the class they choose. So kind of how this will work is that there's going to be a pre-staging area, and that you're going to have these little areas where you walk into it, and it'll be like a pressure plate command block system, where, say, you could do like this, and like, say we had two classes, for example. We're going to have more than that. I really want to kind of switch it up a bit, because if we look through some of these weapons, there's rifles, there's SMGs, there's LMGs, let's see what else we got, more SMGs, assault rifles, snipers. Actually, I want this Barrett right here. What does this look like? That's crazy. I like it. And here's another submachine gun, assault rifles, all that cool stuff. And then we got a bunch of armor. So like for example, we'd have a sniper class, and you could just walk right here after you get picked to your team. So say you got chosen to be on the blue team, you could walk bloop right there, and it'll give you the sniper class. And we're gonna have to do some command block storage to know that, hey, if I walk in, when I respawn, that I'm in the sniper class. So we're gonna probably have to end up having maybe some class switchers right here, where like you can walk into like a back room or something, or maybe just even on this back wall, and we'll have some kind of penalty where you can't just switch classes mid-game, where the class change will only take effect once you actually die and respawn, because that's really how it works on like let's say Call of Duty, for example, in Battlefield, is that you don't just instantly become your new class. You actually have to wait before you can be the new class, because you don't want people being like, oh, we really need sniper support here, let me go bloop bloop become a sniper and then come right here. Now that's a pretty cool element, and that'll really make people stay on their toes, but I feel like that may be a bit unfair for people. So that's kind of my idea so far, and I would like to involve you guys in this process a lot. So if you have any suggestions on maybe something we could do, or maybe do it differently, or maybe an idea that you have, we can certainly make that happen, as long as it's a good suggestion. So of course, here's your middle slot. So what I figure this will be is that this will be kind of like a building, and this building is going to extend all the way to the other side of the map. So let's take this as our halfway point. So this is going to be a pretty long building. So of course I don't think it's going to be a perfectly square building, like I rounded it out there, but this is just going to be halfway through the building, and this is also going to have 2 stories. And what I'd like to do is we're going to have like little windows that you can peek out of and get some cover behind, that you can then, if you're say on this side and say you're like right here, because we're going to offset things a bit, you can actually hit the people up in the window. Like say someone from the blue team was up in a red side window, hitting y'all as y'all came around the corner, then you could, for example, take them out of there so you guys can proceed forward. So we'll just get these 3 out the way. So we need to have some way to get up on a second floor from here. But first, we need to really figure out how our sides are going to be. So, for example, if this came on down like this, and let's say we go till about halfway in that building, that's about half, and then say we wonder which way we should bring it. Should we bring it in and over, or should we bring it over? That'll open up this area a lot more. So what do you say we bring this over 3? That still leaves us with 4 blocks of walking room here. And then we bring this over up to this point. And then what we're going to do is it's going to be a carbon copy. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then it's going to go back out 3, 1, 2, 3, and then just keep on going like that. So I'm going to discard this for now, because we're just going to do a carbon copy later on. So we don't really need to build this whole area out there. It'd be kind of a waste. So that is my idea at the moment. So after that, it's going to keep going like that, right? Yeah. So actually, that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. So this is what we have to work with so far. And let's see. Let's go ahead and copy it over here. So right here on this line is going to be where we're going to come in. So bring this out 1, 2, 3, and that should leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's going to keep coming on this way. And then something else I need to work on is that I'd like to actually we won't do that for now, but is I want to get a server set up for this, so I can use some cool tools like World Edit and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they don't give out a server pack for this pack for some reason. I'm really not sure why, honestly. So I've actually got to figure it out myself and get it working. So here's kind of our basic design. So of course, one of your cover points, you got a couple right here. So you're going to be able to peek around the side of this building and shoot people, and then you'll be able to peek out around this corner and shoot people. Now, of course, you won't be able to see to the other side like this. Of course, this would be a wall or something like that where you could hide behind it and shoot your bow or shoot your gun or whatever. Because I plan on using bows as well. I got to balance them somehow with the guns to make sure, you know, that if anybody picked a class with a bow, that they're not going to be the weakest person or anything like that. So now that we have these cover points kind of figured out, is of course that's only 2. That's not really enough. So what I want to do is that we need to have some area where we can have like cover. So let's get some signs, and let's say we want to have some barrels right here, or something that looks like barrels. Oops, barrels / cover. And then of course that's going to be a cover spot. This will be a cover spot. And then let's get another one. Let's see, let's do something kind of like this. And this is going to be a cover spot where we can fill out some stuff right here. So this is actually, these are both dual purpose cover spots, is because you won't be able to see them, it'll be too high, so people could peek around and shoot people at this cover spot if they're defending, or people could be looking the other way. So this is also dual purpose because this will peek around this way, and then you could also peek around right here, and you're pretty much in their base right here. Now, the reason we're going to do bases is that I want to have some kind of way of winning the game other than just getting a certain score. So maybe we could have a way, and like for example, I see in a lot of custom games they'll have a bunch of pressure plates, something kind of like this, where you can be like this, and if you're standing on any of these pressure plates, you can be capturing their base, and there will be some amount we're gonna have to set where, say, a bunch of red guys came over here, they could be on this pressure plate, and what it'll maybe do is fire off some redstone, and we'll have to figure out a certain timer, like if they, you know, in total stand on it for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I don't know. That's gonna really be a part of the balancing. Is that how I think we could accomplish that? Is we could take some droppers, and we take some blocks, and let's say, how could we do it? Because we got to be able to use like a comparator with a dropper. So pretty much how it'll work is that there'll be like this and a dropper, and that pretty much over time is that we're gonna have to figure out some kind of pulsar for this. So is that when a signal gets sent from here, like from them standing on the pressure plate, it'll fire it off. However, with this kind of system, you know, you got multiple pressure plates here, so I'm not really sure how we do it if there was, say, multiple people on it. I mean, we could always treat each pressure plate as a different signal, but that's gonna get really confusing for the redstone. So what we could do is, I wonder how we can pulse this. That's a good question. I'll have to kind of look into that on how we could make a pulse, because of course a constant signal is that if we run it to a dropper, is that you see it's not constantly ticking. So one way I know we could do this is we have this whole shanga here, and let's get some pistons and some redstone torches. I hate how it pushes everything up here. I don't like that. and let's say an iron block. I mean, not an iron block, a redstone block. So something kind of like this, and something kind of like that. So then we have some redstone on top. So it's just a T flip-flop, and we'll have to figure out some way to pulse it. So I don't know. This is kind of really old T flip-flop system anyways. There's probably a much better way to do it nowadays. Is that maybe we can have it hit a clock, you know, using like repeaters. And see, look, it keeps sending stuff in here. If you guys know how to disable that, please let me know. We'll go out here because we got more room. So say we got a clock, like so. And we have our pressure plate, and this is kind of an experiment kind of. Well, no, this won't work either, huh? Because it'll just lock the signal like that. Maybe if we say did this. No, that won't work either. Well, that didn't even do anything. I don't know. I'm gonna have to experiment with the redstone a bit to figure out some way that for as long as I'm standing on this pressure plate, if it can do a pulse. And then as soon as I step off, like for example, if I had to get off to say get healed up or something like that, or maybe somebody even killed me on the pressure plates, is it would go ahead and stop ticking the clock. And you know, for every tick we could probably do something like make a dropper drop into a chest or something like that. I don't know, we'd have to figure something out. But so that's a secondary way that you can win the game. And we could even do something kind of fancy, like for example have a display right here. I mean, maybe not this low because that would be kind of hard to see. Is we could have, and probably even more lights than this, like maybe 5 or something like that. Or if we can figure out some kind of ratio of how much time it's going to take for you know, for the person to capture the other enemy's base. And for every light on, it's like a minute or something like that. So if we say it takes 3 minutes, we could have 3 minutes, and then as soon as 1 minute is up, or you know, the equivalent of, you know, items got dispensed out of the dropper, you know, this would come undone or something like that. I don't know. There's a bunch of really cool stuff that we could do with this. It'll just take a little bit of redstone and probably some help from some of my friends like Woolly Creeper, and you know, all my other kind of redstone-y friends. So let's go ahead and set it. Look, it knew I wanted to do that. Geez, you see it? I could have swore it said it. I'm going to have to go back and watch the tape, but I'm pretty sure it set it to 0 before I even hit enter. Or maybe I'm just crazy. It's probably a mixture of both, honestly. So I'm going to finagle with this design a little bit more, and then I'm going to cut back. So see you guys in a second. Hey guys, welcome back. So, I didn't make that terribly much progress, but I got some redstone-y stuff to show you. So I went ahead and copied these over here, and I kind of laid out what I'm thinking I want the building to kind of look like. Is that, of course, I want kind of a perch over the base so people could fire into it and possibly get people out of it or get someone off the pressure plate, something like that. And then for these windows, this is more for trying to make progress or to maybe defend people. And I just have 2 right here, so you don't know which one they're gonna pop out of or something like that. So that's of course mirrored because this map is gonna be very symmetrical. Because I don't know, that's you don't normally see that in a lot of maps, is that how symmetrical it is. But I think for this first real test and this first real demo, I think that'll be good if we kind of have it symmetrical, and it'll just be easy to explain to people. So for the redstone-y stuff, I got a little something to show you. Is I came up with this. This is a really kind of weird way to do it. There's probably a better way now that we're in like 1.5, but this is the general idea of how it's gonna work. So it'll start out like this, and you step on this pressure plate, it pushes this block forward so that that pulse can get through, and that'll hurry up and turn this off, and then it'll click back on, and this is just a clock pretty much. So you got a note block for a noise, and then the dropper, and then a chest just to hold stuff. So if we go ahead and let's say put 10 in there, like so, and I got a comparator coming off the side, because once this is empty, this redstone signal will turn off, which will then make this redstone torch come on. And I have this command block saying, you know, say red team wins, because of course this is the blue side. So if I go ahead and step on this pressure plate, you can see it's going to start ticking, and then red team wins. So that's kind of the idea I have there. However, there's going to be some kind of thing like when this comes into here, you know, maybe we'll have like a, you know, or whatever, however we're going to do it kind of way, and it'll do something like that where it'll break the redstone or something like that once it's empty. So if we go ahead and let's put, you know, 5 more in there, and then replace this redstone, we should, or I'll have to do this some other way that's kind of repairable, so you can just click a reset button and reset this, so that once you hit 5, boom, it's still clicking. Oh, duh. What's a block you can't pass through? Glass? Can it go through glass? Nope. Awesome. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and replace this redstone, so it'll tick back down, and it'll stop. So that's good stuff. So we'll have to figure out some maybe 1.5-ish way of doing this, because this is kind of very old school redstone. Because I mean, other than the comparator and the dropper, this is all pretty much old redstone that's been around. Oop, phone fell. Oh man, it landed in some water stuffs. There we go. Make sure I don't get water damage in my Nexus phone. So this is kind of the idea that I had. It would be something kind of like this with an easy reset, because of course we don't want it to just break the redstone. Because you know, then between rounds you'd have to reload the map, which I guess isn't a huge deal. There's a lot of custom maps out there where as soon as the game's over you got to reset, which isn't bad, because you know, like I said, there's a lot of maps out there that you have to reset it like that. But I'd like mine to be kind of easy to reset, because of course this is going to be using FTB, and FTB takes a while to restart because it's got to load all those mods. So that'll just make it longer between games, and you know, people probably wouldn't like that very much. So of course I'm still thinking about going with this kind of system, you know, and this will give it enough to where people got to make sure they kill you, because there's not just one pressure plate where they have to worry about getting you off of, because even if you get hit by a bow, you can still end up on one, you know, or something like that, or hit by a gun. Does a gun knock you back? I don't think it does on here. I'm not sure, because I haven't played multiplayer with this. So that's kind of my ideas so far, and I'm thinking about maybe having some secondary cover here possibly. I'm not really sure, but this is going to be kind of the shape of the building, or at least what I have worked out so far. And of course it'll look a lot better than this, because you know, I'm not going to make buildings out of all stone blocks. We're going to use some custom blocks and stuff like that in here. But that is my idea. That's what I have envisioned so far. And as for the redstone, like I said, I'm going to get like Woolly Creeper or somebody to come help me to hold my hand in the redstone process of doing this correctly, and in a way that's not going to lag the server out. And then next episode we'll probably work on the staging areas, so that, you know, we'll have like the entrance area, like where the server spawn is, so you all spawn in this room or something like this, you know, of course not this small. So you all spawn in this room, and then you go click a button, you know, that says, hey, look, we're ready to play, or, you know, if the admin clicks, okay, look, we're ready to play, then you go into another room, and I'm not really sure how it's going to work for the sorting. I may honestly just have manual sorting, so you could maybe play with off-sized teams and stuff like that, so that you once you leave this room, or maybe you'll even do it in this room, I'm not really sure, on when you pick your team. So you say, oh, okay, well, I'm in blue team, so then you get sent to another room where you pick your class, you know, like your sniper or your support class or whatever you want to do. So then you click that, and now you're, you know, a support person, and you'll maybe get teleported again. And eventually you'll end up here when the game starts. So there is a couple areas we have to design first, and kind of get the layout figured out. So that shouldn't be a problem with as huge as this world is. So it's just my imagination that's going to be the problem, because if you guys have been long-term subs, you know old Ruby here ain't the best builder in the world. So we may even have some guest appearances on this series. Maybe I can bribe Zul'jin or someone who's really good at building, or someone else from the Hypermind server, to come on here and help me spruce the place up. I think that would be awesome. But that's all I have for this video. Well, listen, man, this bedrock is tripping me out. I think before next episode, I'm gonna put this in like an all stone world or something, or just put a whole layer of something above this bedrock and then put this on top of that. Because this is like making my eyes hurt. I don't even want to imagine after it gets on YouTube. Oof. But like I said, that's all I have for this video. If you did enjoy, likes and the such are always much appreciated. And I'll see you guys next time. And don't forget to leave your suggestions down below.